What's up, and welcome back to Opposites Attract Podcast. This is Sonja Ramirez, your girl, and I'm sitting next to
Miguel Ramirez.
What's up, everybody? How was your day?
How was your week?
How was your life?
Going. Yeah, look at you.
Woo.
And before we do anything, make sure you guys go to our website, oppositesattractpodcast.com. Like we've said before, the best thing you can do is share this with somebody else. Find our clips channel, share that with somebody else. I think we're at like 350 subscribers on our podcast channel on YouTube. And I don't know how many on the clips channel, but find them both, subscribe to them both, and let people know. Find your favorite clip, share it with somebody, comment, like, all that stuff. It really helps.
All that good stuff.
Yep.
So, what's up, babe?
What's happening, yo?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I did the setup today all by myself. Yeah, man. Without you here. And I did it pretty quick.
Yeah, you did good.
So I feel like I'm getting the hang of it.
I think
the more
next
I do
one,
it.
I think you're getting pretty close in the next couple to like just setting it up, and like we're just gonna record and you'll have set everything up.
Yes, I'm excited.
That's cool.
Because and then I just made a few phone calls today for Soul to Soul podcast. So getting those interviews lined up, which is cool.
That's cool. After this, you know what we should do before we
what can we do?
Before we do anything else? Well, for one, I think now that you're kind of learning how to put this together, I should show you what the next steps are so that you understand like why things are the way they are, you know? Because it helps when you're putting the podcast together, like why we have a mixer, why we have a camera, why we do things separate. But anyway, yeah, that'll be cool.
Yeah. I've been learning a whole lot. A whole lot. Yeah. When it just comes to the administrative work, when it comes to, setting up, but also being able to lead a team and being able to delegate, right? And bringing the team together. And,
because that's part of, another project you're working on.
Right. I have a few that I'm working on, which is really awesome. Like I'm working on my media kit. I don't even know what the hell a media kit was, right? Yeah. Until I started moving forward with becoming guest on other podcasts. And
it's like something that you send out, like this is my media stuff, like a media resume kind of.
Right.
If you're a creator. Okay.
So it's for, if you want to be in a magazine or you want to be part of a speaking engagement, a podcast, any, Yep. So
any creative type stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
That's cool.
So stepping into that role, and that's going to help us with what we're creating.
We've been creating. Yeah. We're on a creating role.
Yeah. And it feels good because I think I mentioned in the previous podcast, things were just kind of like, right? Like
mean?
I was just very like going with the flow, and I'm like, all right, God, when is it time for me to run? When is it time? And I just felt like, just continue doing what you're doing. Continue doing what you're doing. And, in 2025, I felt was going to be the year of unfolding what's coming.
Yeah.
And did it come on in January.
Right. You got your event that you're doing next week, which if you're listening to this, it already happened. So we'll tell you guys about it next week. But you also have an event that we just got done with. Mm-hmm. So for the first time, you did like your first sound bath.
Yeah. Well, this is funny because I've done sound baths before, just not with my bowls.
Have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Jacinta.
Okay.
And in that
But you led the whole thing like that?
Yeah, I led. So it wasn't my first. It was my first sound bath with my bowls.
Okay.
Right? When I read that post, I was like, oh, that wasn't my first sound bath. But it is with my bowls. Yeah. It just feels different because they're my babies.
Yeah, but I think it was a different thing too.
No, yes.
Because I think maybe even though you did it with Jacinta or your friend in the past, like were people coming to see you do the sound, it was like promoted that way and
So she was doing massage in one room and I was doing the sound bath in a whole separate room with a brief meditation as well.
Okay, that's cool.
Right. So, but that was really cool. And I love the way how it unfolded, because there were a lot of surprises that I wasn't expecting, like good surprises. Like I didn't know Sundance, a friend of mine through the Bean Movement was going to be there. And I know he sings and he plays the drum, and I absolutely love him and what he does. And so when we combined both efforts, it was just so beautiful to see that, and that was the first time he's like, it's so great to see you working within your space. And I laughed and I said, I just pulled this out of my pocket. And he's like, what? He's like, you pulled, and he looked at, my setup. He's like, you pulled that out of your pocket. And I said, pretty much. Right? Because I think within the last 2 weeks, my bowls came in, and then I started visualizing like how I wanted things to look and how I wanted things to be set up.
Yeah. Yeah. It turned out real nice.
The importance of really setting up the space, right? Like the music, the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like all of that has so much to do with the event as well, and helping people to settle in
and be relaxed.
To receive. Right. Right. And I feel like I have that part down, right? Like getting, that space settled for everyone. And it was the bowls, like just being able to, we had about 25 people there?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was a cool experience.
And thank you for being there and supporting and taking the videos.
I was the videographer.
And we've always been that for each other, right? Like, what just popped up?
What's that?
When you were a rapper.
When I was a rapper and you were a groupie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. You know what? On the next episode, I'm gonna wear. I have it still.
Wear a shirt?
I'm gonna wear it, and we're gonna play.
We should play a song.
Yes, let's play one of your songs.
Yeah.
I think that would be super cool, so you guys could see another side of Miguel. But I remember when you were doing that, and it's like every day you were taking this notepad with you to work, and you were doing it with whatever time that you had available. You were writing music, and you were really good at it. Like creating the story, and it was fun to be a part of that, and funny as shit too, because we freaking did it. Like you actually performed at a nightclub downtown Phoenix.
Yeah.
You and your friends.
Freaking crazy, man.
And here I am wearing a freaking spaghetti strap with my husband's face platted on my titties.
Yeah.
And your other two friends. And I remember going to Sierra Vista to meet with your friends so that we can finalize and record.
Yeah, we were recording the songs. Yeah.
And Audrey was a baby. Like I remember having a carrier.
Yeah.
And
you guys would do their thing, and we would sit there and record through the night. Like there was some late nights that we would sit there and record music.
Yeah. And it's always been that. Like it's always been us, just having each other's back, and when you look at a marriage and what it consists of, that is the glue.
Yeah.
That is the glue. Being able to support each other's dreams, even when there is doubt. Because for me, during that time, I was being that supportive wife. Within me, there was still a bit of, how is this going to work? Because I didn't see it as a little thing. I saw it as, this can become something. Like if you continue to grow it and you continue to do it and focus on it, it could have been that. And so when I see other artists, it's the fear, right? It's that fear when you see and you hear other stories about those individuals that became famous, right? Started rapping and the lifestyle that they live.
Yeah.
That comes with that, right? It was, though I was supporting you, there was a bit of concern within me, or fear, within me about us, But regardless, I don't know if I ever voiced
but it's
that
always
to
changed.
you. I may have voiced that to you. I'm not sure. But regardless of that, I was there to support you. And I think you even did a I think you even had an opening in Yuma. Didn't you have something going on?
Not
or
in,
something else? No, that was Sarah Vista. Was it Sarah Vista?
Yeah, I think there was something. There was a bunch of stuff
hilarious.
that I tried out, but
you're right, because we did Friday, the event.
The first Friday, rapping or selling
that was
stuff.
Cool. No, you were rapping. My niece was there.
Yeah. I did another show at one of the like art festival
Dude,
things
where
downtown.
are those videos? Dude, we gotta find
I've never
those
seen a
videos.
video of that one. There's a video somewhere on the computer.
Yeah, no, because I know I was your groupie. I was taking freaking
no,
videos.
There's videos of the nightclub. That was actually
and First Friday.
One of the NBA players. The First Friday one, I don't know if I've ever seen it.
Yeah.
The one that we did it at a school in Sierra Vista. We did a show there.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video of that one somewhere. But
right. Yeah.
It's freaking crazy.
Yeah, just all the different things. Right. But as I was saying, in a marriage, even, with that doubt and with that fear, I was there to support you in that. And I feel that it is so important. It was very important for us in our relationship to be able to support each other. And even when you were going to leave to Iraq, as hard as that was, I was pregnant with Joey and money was tight.
Yeah.
Right. And we were trying to figure out a way to get ahead of this.
That's different. That's a different thing, But I think a lot of times. But it was
still a choice.
Yeah.
You still had a choice.
Yeah.
And that was a very hard decision as a wife, right? As a mother of a toddler. And I think we also had our nephews and nieces at that time too.
Yeah.
But to support you in going basically to war.
No.
I mean, you weren't going to be in it, but you were
going to be a contractor
right?
at the base.
But what was happening?
But
shit
so you're
was
going
hot.
to a war zone,
Yeah. And still, was there to support you for that.
Yeah. You were talking about all these things and more like when I was a rapper, this big time rapper. No. But like those the thoughts that you're having are of like the change that could be, right? Because I don't think it's just been that. I think also if you think about maybe the different jobs that I've gotten or different things that you're going to do that start taking off, and then you start imagining what your life would be if you did that. Mm-hmm. And you kind of know that your life would be completely different. Like there's no way that it stays the same. It's one of those things. If that takes off, it's going to change somehow.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right. And it could be all good, but you're still scared of it.
Right.
Because this is what you're used to.
Right.
Because I think also like if you thought about when I was a mechanic and I was going to go be an inspector on flight test or whatever. And one of the things was like, well, you're going to have to start working nights or they work more hours out there. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, well, now he's never going to be here.
Right.
And then you get this other job and traveling, and then now he's going to be traveling all the time.
Right.
It's just not knowing what that change is going to be like.
Right.
But that's life. That is life.
It is life. It is life. And when you have a significant other, it's not just about your life, right? It's not just about you.
Yeah.
It's about us. When I was building Legal Shield, right? There were times where I was out of state. Like I was at a conference 3 nights, 4 days, whatever. And you were holding down the house.
Yeah.
Like baby, toddler, like all of it. And you know what I remember is that I remember my friends being so surprised that you were taking care of our children.
That I was babysitting our
You-
kids. That I was babysitting our kids.
I remember I told you that one time. I'm like, I'm sitting back and I'm listening to my girlfriend and she's talking to me, about how her husband is like, I have to babysit. I'm like, you don't babysit your own kids, but that you can actually hold down.
What's wrong with you, fool? You don't babysit your own kids. Right?
But it's about you being able to hold down the household.
Yeah. You know, I've always had I don't know where the hell this came from, really. I think it's maybe one of these things that's just like contemplating, but it came around, I guess, earlier in our relationship, you know? Or not even earlier in the relationship. It's just kind of how I've been. Just like pitching in.
Yeah.
Like being part of a team. Like I don't know why, like, but that's just how I see things.
Well, when you think back to when you were growing up, you were raised that way. When you look at your grandmother, and your grandfather, and you were working in the hotel,
the offices.
in the offices to help support the family. Yeah. It's part of that.
Yeah.
It's part of that.
That's just kind of how I've always seen it. And at a certain point, you also, like for me, being individuals in a relationship, having our own autonomy, exactly, like being individuals in this relationship where you can have things that you want to do, goals that you want to achieve, but we have a family together.
Right.
So if you want to do this thing with Legal Shield or Trust Inc. or whatever you have going on at that moment as a team, because that's the family, then how can we do that? Because that's what teams do, right? And then it's always been the same way. Like if I have something going on, then like when I was going to school at night, you know, when I get into jiu-jitsu stuff and tournaments and, you know, I'm away and, you know, I get a new job that makes me have to travel and be away a little bit. Like you support me with all. It's like, yes, go do the things that you want to do. Mm-hmm. And we make it work.
Right.
And also ultimately it's like we want to be together. So,
ultimately.
Well, like we want to spend time together with us, right. Me and you, the kids.
Yeah.
So it's like if we can just get things done faster and we can just kind of help each other out.
Yeah. The question is, how can we create this together? Right? Like how can we create this together and how can we make this happen? And how can I support you in what it is that you, in your dreams, how can I support you in creating that dream? What are some things that I can do personally?
This is one thing that I know is that the more you work together as a couple, like the way we do, the bigger your dreams can be.
Yes.
Because you help each other and support each other with these things. Because if you don't, it makes it more, it's more difficult.
Yeah. You know, I've witnessed other relationships where there's a fear of loss.
Because even like just thinking about this stuff, like when you are doing stuff, there's times when it is like having your back, you know, with the kids. Yeah. And you know, like when I'm out of town, I'm sure there's things that come up and you have my back.
Right.
You know, like dad's, yes, it may seem like dad's on vacation, like we joke around,
right?
You know, or whatever. And he's going to jiu-jitsu and eating great steaks and staying at nice hotels and driving nice cars.
And
but it's work. It is hard.
History and
without
having a moment with a friend, watching the sunset or the sunrise, whatever. It's so hilarious.
What am I supposed to do? Be miserable?
I know, right?
You know, but the truth is, like, I'm working, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. Oh, man.
Miguel will call us on video with the kids, and here he is in a Jeep with,
fucking top down.
Top down. Yep.
Music's blasting, like the beach in the sun in the background. Like, what are you guys doing? I got my sunglasses on. What are you guys eating? I'm headed to a steakhouse.
Right. You know, the feeling that I get when I'm experiencing that with you, because I am experiencing that with you. For me, it's a sense of like appreciation for what you've created for our family. And I'm glad that you get to experience those moments.
Yeah.
And have some time to yourself. I feel that it's so important because life is crazy, right? We all live busy lives. There's so much going on, especially, you know, when you're in a family, you have children and you have a business and you have a
all these
8 to 5, whatever it is. It's so busy. And I'm so glad that you have this time away from us and the kids just to be with you.
Yeah.
Because I've mentioned this before. It's so important for us not only to grow together, continue to grow together, but it's very important for us to grow as individuals.
Right.
And this time that you have alone really helps you tap into who you are and what it is that you want. And it gives you time away from us to miss us, right? And to see like what you've created. Like when you call home and you see what we're doing here. You know, so before I didn't appreciate you leaving out of town, but that was just because I had my own healing to work on. But now I do appreciate that time that you are away, because it gives me time with the children as well, just to have that mommy time with them. And it gives you time to be with you and to really disconnect.
Yeah.
Because it can be a lot being a man.
If you allow it to be.
Yeah.
If you allow it to be, you know. There's the whole being a man thing. I mean, I don't know. I've taken a lot more of a like who gives a fuck approach to stuff. Mm-hmm. Like just not take things that serious.
Yeah.
You know? That combined with an attitude of gratitude.
An attitude of gratitude. Write that down in your journals.
Dude, like that combination right there that changes everything.
What? Is there a significant moment that really opened up gratitude for you? Do you remember the moment where you actually sat back and recognized the importance of gratitude?
It's been gradual over time. Mm-hmm. But then there's more when you are more aware of it. Mm-hmm. It's weird. Because right now, like just the way I'm thinking, I'm in my own mind increasing the gratitude by thinking of what it takes for me to be here now.
Thinking, feeling.
Yeah, and being. Mm-hmm. But just like I've said before, being, yes, the world is crazy. And you could focus on that if you want. But you're living in 2025 listening to this on your freaking whatever, the new iPhone, whatever, you know? It's pretty good. Right? And just like in every little way. Right. But I don't know. It's hard to think about that and the bad stuff all at the same time. The more you think about this, it's kind of like you just keep, at least for me, that's the way my mind works, you know? It's just more gratitude. Like the other day we came from,
I see what you're saying.
what I wanted to mention is we've mentioned on this podcast before this thing called Satori. Like, look it up. It's in it's something that's part of I think like Zen Buddhism or whatever. But it's like these moments where you kind of get like an overwhelming feeling or just an overwhelming sense of emotions of like where shit just kind of has come together. It's a huge revelation of stuff, enlightenment, whatever. And maybe not just that, like learning something. It could be with love. Like sometimes when you watch somebody do something and you cannot contain yourself, it makes you cry.
Right.
That type of a thing. And when you're like in a consistent like thought process of gratitude, and that's just how you are. Like when I start thinking about, like you were saying, like my work, and there are times that it's like, dude, like this is how you work. Like it's like this with the fucking top down and the music and like, holy shit. And then thinking about where I came from.
There you go.
And all the fucking shit sandwiches that I had to eat.
Yeah.
And the fucking long nights, the fucking cold hands, the busted knuckles.
Yeah.
And now I'm checking into these fucking hotels sometimes. Like I'm downtown and I'm like, dude, this is crazy. Sitting in boardrooms and stuff.
Yeah.
But
see, now what people don't see is the work that went behind that.
Yeah.
Right? The work, like you said, the busted knuckles, the late nights, the awards, the certificates that are sitting, that are right behind me.
All that
right?
extra
When
shit.
they're, you made the choice, you made the decision to take action and to further yourself in your company in order to get to where you are. Because there are others who are still where they are, where you began.
And that's a tough, like, what is that reflection like?
And there's
That's
no
tough.
judgment.
That can be,
right? There's no judgment.
It is what it is.
They are who they are. You are who you are.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. You made the decision. You took the actions to further yourself.
And you bring up something different because there is that person, right? And like you said, there is a judgment maybe. But then what I think about is that person has a story that is completely different to my story.
Right.
Like you said, part of the reason that I do what I do is probably because I slept on office floors helping my grandmother clean when I was a little kid. Probably because I used to sleep in front of club speakers when I was 12 and I would help my dad set up for his nightclub that he used to, like, rolling nightclub in New York. And I was working forever since I was a little kid. Like, that's just part of my DNA, I guess. I don't know. But there's things that make me me and there's things that make them them.
Right.
And if those things happen to me, I might be them.
Right.
So it's hard to judge them.
Right. So we were watching, what's that show we've been watching? Not Alone.
Outlast, yeah.
Yeah, so I totally got into the show Outlast. And
it's real quick, it's a survival show where they have 4 teams of people. They have 4 people on each team, 4 teams, and they have to outlast each other out in the wilderness.
Yes. And the only rule is that you have to be on a team.
Yeah. So if you can't keep continuing competing in this thing, then you shoot your flare and they come pick you up.
Or you find another team.
Yeah. And if you don't have any people left on your team, you got to go find another team. And if they don't pick you up, then you're out. But yeah, that's pretty much the premise of the show.
So there's 2 teams left. And one of the team has these 2 gentlemen from Texas, right? Like hardcore, like... Right.
They're 2 bros from Texas.
Right.
That is what they are, 2 bros from Texas.
And then you have the other team that has 4 individuals. There's a woman who the reason why she joined is because her mother has Alzheimer's and she's wanting to put her into a home, but just can't afford to do so.
Yeah.
All these individuals, the reason why they joined was because of the money, so that they can help their families. Right.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of heartfelt stories behind the reasoning why they joined.
Yeah.
Outlast.
One guy left his wife and his kids behind, and he's, he wants this money so that he can do something for his wife and his kids and their future. And, right.
Like all the stuff. Right. So last night we were watching it, and
this is the finale.
yeah. And we're watching it, and
skip this if you're going to go back and watch this.
And the goal is for them to get to the end of, they have to go through the forest.
Yeah. So at the end, they're all trying to outlast each other.
By the way, food is a struggle. I mean, it's survival.
They're eating mice they're eating whatever the hell they can catch or forage.
They lack energy. They've been through so much already.
I mean, they lose all their body fat pretty much. Yeah.
And this is the end of the game. And this is...
So at the end, they've all outlasted each other. And when it comes down to like the very last two, or it's the end of the game, they give them, like, they have to kind of both reach a certain point, and then they have to start a fire. And then when the fire signals that they won. So whoever starts that fire first wins.
Yeah. But they're going up hills. Yeah. They are going through trenches. I mean, it's hardcore. Like, it's, yeah.
Yeah. So for this whole time, they've been sitting at their camp.
Right.
So like, yeah, they're hunting and doing stuff, but they're coming back to their camp. Now they got to freaking go miles.
Right. And so, we're watching these two teams, and I asked Miguel, what team do you want to win? And he said, the one with the 4, right?
With the families and the grandma or the mom that.
Yeah, they're really needing the money. And these other two gentlemen, when they asked, what are you going to do with the money? One was like, oh, I'm going to buy myself a new truck.
I'm going to buy a truck.
I'm going to buy my wife another car. Like, it was all like materialistic, right? And they were good dudes, but it's like, they're not really hurting, right?
He's like, I'm going to get a pickup truck. And his buddy's like, woo!
But they were great dudes, man. They were great dudes. And so here we are cheering on the team that have 4, and man, they're struggling. Like, they're just struggling. The other team got lost. The two Texas dudes, they got lost, so I thought for sure the other team was going to win, just because the two dudes didn't have any experience reading a compass or a map.
Yeah. Like, they were kind of stranded out there a little bit for a little while.
Right. Well, they end up winning. And it's cool because they're cool dudes. It was so cute. Like,
yeah, like, they're nice. Like, they struggled and they pushed.
Dude.
Like, some of the stuff that they went through, it was cool. It was really cool to see them win too.
They pushed through some hard shit. Because one wanted to quit. The other one was like, jump on my back. I'm going to give you a piggyback. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Miguel's like, man, see, it's random. Like, it's like the good guys don't always win. Not that the other guys were bad, but
no, it's not that the other guys were bad, but like this is just like I was telling you, like, this is a perfect example of like how I think sometimes people think like this is a fairy tale, like this is like these are movies that we watch, like life is kind of like the movies that we watch, and it's like no, like bad people win, like you have to. And one thing kind of like movies is that you sit back and watch a movie, but life is not like that. Sometimes you have to do that. You have to be that. You have to be the good. And you have to be the one to say something and stand up or do something.
What you mentioned was, and it makes a lot of sense, the two gentlemen from Texas, a lot younger, a lot stronger. Right?
This is real life.
This
is real life. The other team was older.
Hardcore mindset.
Yeah.
It's like,
we're
doing this. Like, there's no...
They were fucking yelling, I got that dog in me the whole fucking way over there. I got that dog in me. I'm like, chill out, bro.
And, the other team, they were older. Some of them, one had, trouble with his knee. I mean, they were older.
Yeah. But they made it. They struggled. They made it. They made it all the way to the end.
But
in the end, they lost.
Right.
You know, and it's like, if you want to look at this thing like a fairy tale, they were supposed to win.
Yeah.
They were supposed to win. Yeah. The girl
was happily ever after.
The girl was supposed to get the money for her mom. The guy was supposed to get the money for his family. But instead, these guys got money for their pickup trucks.
Right.
But in reality, they were younger.
Right.
There was 2 of them versus 4 of them.
Right.
Which is an easier team to get to a finish line than having to get 4 people to a finish line.
Right. Yeah.
They were going to win. And that's life.
And what I was sharing with Miguel, like, you see the end, and man, the other team with the 4, they were so bummed out, but there was so much, like, seeing them, witnessing like their growth.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, okay, well, they didn't win the money, but they won.
Right.
Right. Their friendship, the friendships that they ended up building with each other.
Yeah.
They are not the same people that walked into that game. I can tell you that.
No, and they'll be friends forever. Like, that's a different experience. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool show. Definitely recommend it. Outlast on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
I can't remember why I brought that up. There was something we were talking about that made me, think of
Life
that.
is random type of
there
thing.
You go.
Or like this
life
shit
is
ain't
random.
a fairy tale.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The people that you think are, should win don't always win.
It doesn't work that way.
And it is what it is.
That's
you make
why,
the best of it.
Like, it's kind of like that thought of, like, it'll never happen to me. It could.
Yeah.
Like, it could, because it'll never happen to me is like the movie. Mm-hmm. Like, you're just watching the movie. Mm-hmm. There's a funny Bill Burr bit that he did where, like, there was this crazy basketball game back in the day where, like, the fans were talking shit to the players and the players had enough and they went up the stands and started beating the shit out of the fans. But you have, like, professional athletes beating the shit out of, like, dudes that don't go to the gym, don't do shit. They're just there to watch a game, but they're like, fuck you, talking shit, right? But the dude was like, it's like one of these things where you're, like, normally watching. Like, these guys don't think that something could happen. Like, this is real life. You're yelling at some guy down there. Right. He could come up and kick your ass. And guess what happened that day? It happened.
It happened.
And Bill Burr's joking around. He's like, wow, they're coming right at me. Like, yeah,
right.
What'd you think was going to happen?
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
It's crazy.
Anyway, I don't know how we got into all that, but it was funny.
Yeah. No, yeah. It just rolled in. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Just rolled in.
So now that we're moving on to something else, there was something that I don't know if I know you're not expecting to talk about this, but we had a situation.
Undo my legs so I can kick you in the head.
Get ready. Get ready. No, because this is actually something that's kind of serious. It is very serious. And it's something that I think a lot of people talk about privately and deal with and never talk to anybody else really that much about. But we had a situation with our son where it came to, like, using the N-word. And this is, like, a very weird thing. Like, I know it's supposed to be like this cut and dry thing, like nobody says this but it's not. It's just not. Because it's not nobody says this, because somebody does say it. People do say it. Mm-hmm. Who says it? Who gets to say it? Mm-hmm. Right? But man, like, I had a talk with him, like a real talk about just, like, the reality of everything and the history of this whole shit.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So at school, just so you know, there's this thing where you can give a card to someone to say it.
It's the pass.
But you have to be...
It's the pass.
Right? Mexican,
the
or
N-word
black,
pass.
or...
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's the stupid shit that these kids are doing these days.
Yeah, I don't remember the pass really as a kid. Yeah, no, I just don't. I don't really remember it.
Well, this is their generation.
Yeah. That came later, I guess.
Yeah.
But either way, like, just the whole thing has always been complicated. It's fucking complicated. Because the truth is, like, it's not a good thing, right? To call somebody the N-word, but I guess it kind of depends. Like, the origin of it is not a good thing.
Right.
I think everybody knows that.
Right.
But somehow this thing turned into,
like, my boy.
like, it's just a slang. Yeah. And
my dog, my boy.
like I was talking about earlier, I grew up in New York, in Queens in the 90s, which is a different world. And now I live here across the country in suburbia. This is night and day from how I grew up. And where I grew up, everybody said it. It did not matter the color of your skin. White people said it. Asian people said it. Black people said it. Hispanic people said it. Everybody said it. And it was not ever said in a racist way. Ever. It was just part of our speech. And this is a weird thing that I could grow up this way. Being super comfortable saying that to any of my friends in front of my parents, in front of my grandparents. Like, that was just the way we talked. Mm-hmm. Being 40 now, being gone from New York for that long, it would make me feel, I have a thing about saying it. Like, even if I do say it, it feels weird.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting.
But now, it's okay for me to say it because I am Hispanic. Right? Now, this whole thing is so nuts because we have a perfect dilemma. My dad wasn't born here, which is if you look up the N-word handbook, if you have the ability to have a pass, your parents can't be born here or something. I think you can be Hispanic. I don't know. That's like a asterisk in the handbook, right? We can say it because we're dark enough. Yeah. Our parents weren't born here, so I can say it. Right? Like, who makes these freaking rules up?
Right.
Now, we have a son. Both of us are Hispanic. Our son's name is Hispanic as it's about, bro, if they fucking just looked at him on a list, he would get fucking deported. Trump might come after him until they see him.
Right. Yeah.
And then they'll be like, we obviously got the wrong one.
Right.
Because he is white as shit.
And his name is?
Nah, I don't want to. Just imagine the most Hispanic name on the planet.
Right.
And he has it.
Yeah.
Like, stereotype, that's the one. Yes. And if it's not that one, it's the other one. Mine is that one. This is the other one. Oh, shit. But he's white as shit.
Right.
So it'd be fucking weird, wouldn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Does he have a pass? Because I don't know. So, like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, what is this thing? What is the right thing? What is the wrong thing?
Yeah.
What is the intention?
Right.
I mean, I don't think there is an answer. This is one of those things. I don't know that there is an answer. Because, like, at first we kind of... So, the thing was, he was, I guess, like I said, here in suburbia, they're hanging out with the neighborhood kids, and somebody's talking about giving out passes. And I guess our kid might have been giving passes out. He's like, oh, I know you guys don't believe me, but I actually am. I can give passes, like, I have authority, bro. Believe me. Look at my junior high school ID. Look at my name. I can give you a pass. So somebody overheard him giving passes out. And at first we kind of like, we know what it is. Like, we also living where we live. You say that around the wrong people. Like, nobody gives a shit. Wait, my dad grew up in New York in the 90s. My mom's Hispanic. My dad, nobody's waiting for that shit.
Yeah.
It is life. It is what it is. This is, so, and ultimately just like have some situational awareness of what is going on and who you're around and the whole thing and the intention behind what you're doing and saying. So we, like, at first when we had a talk with him about this, it was like, dude, you can get in serious trouble for this type of shit, But then later on, I had to have a talk with him about this whole thing, like about everything that I'm talking about here. And I'm like, dude, I get it. I was like, it's not that easy though. Like, don't feel super bad about it. I know you weren't, like, this shit is so fucking complicated. Mm-hmm. But dude, if it is that fucking serious, then maybe it should just completely go away.
Right.
But that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. And at the end of the day, it's a bunch of fucking sounds that we make with our mouth. Do you know who you are? Is that what you are? Because if it's not, then who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Don't let it have that power over you.
Right.
I don't give a fuck what anybody says about me. What stereotype you... I mean, I'll laugh along if it's funny.
And just that teaching in itself expands to many areas. Teaching the kids their self-worth, teaching them about...
Missed the motion detection.
Oh. Because at school, Joey's going to be in high school. Audrey is in high school. And kids like to talk shit. People, right? Like to talk crap. But as long as you know who you are, you'll be fine. And for me, that is something, like a lesson that I continue to bring forth because of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And especially because at one point in my life, I was very religious.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the things that I'm doing now are the things that in the Bible are like, no, that is the enemy.
You can't do that. Yeah.
Right. So taking that, and it's just being and doing, and then having people come at me, which I've had already. Right. But it's still standing on that firm foundation of who I am and where my heart lies. Yeah. And my intention behind everything I do. Or even this podcast. We've had people talk crap.
Yeah, bring it. Whatever.
Oh
yeah, we've had people talk crap.
And
it's all good.
It's just it is what it is. But as long as you know who you are, then it really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And as children, it's harder for them to really take that stand, right? Like, of course, it's going to knock them a little. But I think as parents, it's important for us to take that stand and talk to them and continue to build on that so that they know who they are, so that they don't allow others to steal their dreams.
Yeah.
Or make them feel less than what they are.
Yeah.
And it all comes down to that. Knowing who you are.
I don't know if, I was just kind of having a similar relation. It's a good time to plug my new stuff. As you guys can see, I'm wearing a pretty groovy t-shirt here that you guys can find at monkeys8mushrooms.com. If you go to monkeys8mushrooms.com, it's a design that I made, and it's something that I mentioned on the last podcast that I have going. And it's starting out with t-shirts. We'll see what it turns into. But I've been excited about this. And I finally, like, I linked the website. Like I mentioned, I was talking about it last week, getting things going and working on some stuff. But now I've made the shirt. I uploaded the shirt. It's linked to the website. By the time you guys hear this, like we kind of got some samples and stuff. So it'll be good for if you guys want to check it out and order some, you guys can do that. But at the same time, I'm excited about this thing. And then I get around people that I'm close to. And I have a feeling about sharing this with people.
Okay.
Because I know that this is just so different and it hits so close to something that people take so personally.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people that believe that.
I know, but
that I'm around.
But they're not like, I think that's the minority.
Yeah.
But there's something about like the knowing who you are, right? And that is a test of being yourself and just saying, fuck it. This is who I am. I am an individual. I think differently. I don't think like everybody else.
And that's okay.
And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And why should I be ashamed or afraid to share what I think?
Right.
What I feel, what I believe, even though it might be different. Even though, man, like I've mentioned before, like I don't want to keep talking about all this stuff. I just don't.
He says that, but he keeps talking about it.
No, and I haven't really gotten into it like that. But yeah, I think that's a sign of something, right? There's something there. Like I know. I think I understand what it is. It's just it's very sensitive. It's a sensitive thing, no matter what. But on a different note, earlier we were kind of talking about all the different things that we were doing, and supporting each other through stuff. And a few episodes ago, we were kind of talking about like, hey, what if we stop recording, or like we just move, like maybe you focus on your podcast, I focus on my podcast, we do something else. Like maybe this was a period in our life, right? Or something. And I really like thought about that. And one thing that I have been thinking about is like this whole thing of doing things, and how a lot of times you can do things and feel like, I tried something, but I never really fucking whatever, But like you said earlier, like the whole being a rapper thing, it's always been different. There's this thing about doing it to a certain point. Like, I'm not saying we're stopping, but let's say we were to stop. Does that mean that this was a fucking real podcast? Look at this shit.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So was it a failure? No, it was a thing. It wasn't. But if you record 12 episodes and stop, was that a thing? Is that the same? That's not the same. We did this and we knew what we were doing. Like we got to a point of proficiency.
Yeah. Well, we knew what we were doing until.
But the thing is that at a certain point, it's like, okay, dude, this is life. Right? All I'm saying is that whatever it is that is for you, that you're going to pick up, that you have a certain feeling about, do it to a certain point. To a certain point where you can actually say that you fucking did it. You know what I'm saying? Like if like this podcast, this isn't something that we fucking tried. We did. We didn't try this shit out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
You're
a
saying
difference.
just give it your all. Give it your all. But
I didn't try rapping. I did it. I competed. I did contests. I did shows. I recorded music. I had groupies. I did it.
He married as a groupie.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying this is going anywhere, but I'm just like, do the things enough. And there's like, when you do that, you can be okay with whatever happens.
Yeah.
You know? But when you just kind of fuck around, it's just like, I wonder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So,
So what? Yo. So, dude, you've been doing all kinds of stuff. Now you got, what is it? You got all kinds of events and shit going on. You've been going like nonstop. You were like,
so fun.
You were saying that you thought you overcommitted.
Oof. Yes. Because so I'm helping with this pre-event. It's a large event that's taking place here, the Ultimate Coach Experience 2025. You can look that up. But there's going to be 250 people from all around the world coming. And I volunteered to help with the pre-event. So we're having a social event happening Thursday night. And then Friday morning, we're having a pre-event. The event actually happens at 1 p.m. on Friday. So we're putting together a breathwork session, a yoga session, and sound healing session with myself. But I'm overlooking like 8 individuals. Like I'm working with these individuals to help to create what it is that we're looking to create. And it's really cool to take that role and have to delegate and do all these things. So I'm doing all of this. I'm creating my media kit, working with somebody else, doing all of that kind of stuff, setting up podcasts, setting up my own podcast, like interviews and stuff like that. And then I remembered that I had committed to one of the gals who's singing on stage at the big event to help her with the choir, like to be a participant in that. And I was like, I didn't know it was moving forward because I didn't hear from her until recently. So I had to download the lyrics, look at it. And
that's crazy.
That's kind of nerve-wracking in itself. And I had the option to do a solo. And there is a part of the song where I felt called to do. But I'm like, ooh, that's too much pressure on me right now. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to do that right now. Yeah. You know, so maybe I can just play safe and be in the choir with my friend Tanya.
Yeah.
You know, but
that'll be cool.
You know, and the retreat, right? Like that's going to be absolutely amazing.
Where
and
can
sold
people get a
out
hold of you?
In no time. SonjaRamirez.com. That's SONJA Ramirez.com. All my social media platforms are on there. My email, if you want to have a discovery call with me as well, you can go on there and do that. That's a free session. Just getting to know me getting to know you. You have questions regarding the retreat, anything like that. You can send me an email through there as well.
Yep.
So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, real quick before we get out of here, there was going back to what I was saying earlier. I had like a couple examples that I wanted to share because I said, you know, kind of like this podcast is a good example of like doing something until like you can say that you've done it. It wasn't like a try type of thing, right? And same thing with like Legal Shield. You know, Legal Shield, for those that don't know, if you've ever been in like a multi-level company or a network marketing business or anything like that, one of the big things that they do is they have these like in-house meetings, right? Or they have like their weekly meeting at a hotel or whatever, or they used to. I don't know. Things have changed so much since we've been involved in any of that stuff that I really don't know how things happen anymore. But we would have people all the time that would start and they would maybe do like the meeting in their house and that was the end of it. Or they would maybe come out to like a meeting on the weekend and that was the end of it.
Yeah. They're trying this thing out. They were playing with it.
They were trying it out. Now, we did not become millionaires in this company, but we've walked across the stage and collected money. We've been at the front of the room and did trainings and done the presentations.
We were in the book.
We've been on the calls.
Mm-hmm.
We were on the book. We've led the calls.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't try it. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
We had this baby hats business where we went to like arts festivals. The first Friday here in Arizona, we would go and set up a table, get a spot, sell baby hats. We made tutus. We made tutus for a wedding, for my cousin's wedding. We went to wedding conventions.
Mm-hmm.
We had business cards. We had the website.
We were pulling doors to get into boutiques
And put our stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't try it. We can say we did it.
Mm-hmm.
Trusting. You didn't buy a printer and try a couple loan signings and notarizing. And no, you took appointment after appointment and then built a business.
Yeah.
You didn't try it out.
Yeah, that was
you did
fun.
it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference. And really, when you look at it, like these are all the things that you didn't, when you don't try things, you end up learning.
Right.
And all of that shit adds up.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you really think about it, everything has led till today.
Mm-hmm.
All those things that we actually did and didn't just try.
Right.
Have made us who we are.
We learned so much through the process. And that's with everything. That's even being married for 16 years, all the trials.
Yeah.
All the challenges.
The lessons.
All of it. All of it led us to where we are today. Being the parents we are today.
Yeah.
Right? All the mistakes we made. All the corrections. All of it.
Yep. That's how it goes.
Led us to where we are today. You know, most people, they look at failure like you're saying, you know, like you're saying, it's like there's so much to learn through the journey. It's not about the end point. It's about the person you become along the way. It's not the end point. It's the person you become along the way. It's the dash between when you were born and your death date. What did you do during the time that you were here? Who were you being? How were you showing up? Who did you serve?
And with that, make sure you guys go to our website. Like I said before, the best thing you guys could do is share this with somebody else. If you guys want to get a hold of Sonja for coaching, for the retreats, to meet with her, to have a session with her, make sure you guys go to sonjaramirez.com. If you guys want to check out my fighting podcast, you can look up Fight Life Pod or just look up Fighting for Your Life podcast. It's available everywhere. You can watch it on YouTube, on Facebook, on Spotify. You can catch this everywhere on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify. You can watch it.
If you would like to order a shirt.
Yep.
Right?
Go to monkeys8mushrooms.com.
That's
monkeys,
monkey
the number
with,
8.
Yep.
And it's all through Amazon, so you get it with the Amazon Prime shipping, so it comes really fast.
Right.
But,
and don't forget to go to our website under Support the Show to order your shirt.
Yeah, either way, it's all coming in here. It's fine. I uploaded it. It's all mine. And Amazon takes their cut. They get their taste.
Yes.
So, yep.
So thank you guys for your love. Thank you for your support. And thank you for watching Opposites Attract podcast.
Where we get better
together. Bye.